I've recently switched colleges, and my first assignment, I was told that I had to create one big project that would take me the entire semester to make. So, I had the bright idea to make a visual novel. I mean, how hard could that be? I could do that in 3 months. I immediately knew what I wanted the overall plot for the game to be because of this little guy right here. His name is Cecil, and he was my first ever original character. At the time, I had no real lore for him, you know, only that he ran a circus and that he was like a little bit mischievous or evil. So I really took this project to expand on his story a little more in like the overall world that my OCs live in. So no longer is he just a pretty boy, but he's a pretty boy with a story. So the overall premise was that you, the player, would go on an interview with Cecil and try to join his circus. I thought this was a simple enough idea to where I could finish the game in time, because like I said, I only had, I think, a little less than 3 months to make this from scratch. So I thought this was a reasonable like target to aim for. You know, simple game, you interview to join a circus, and then you would get one of 3 endings. Either you got the job, you didn't get the job, or something a little weird happens. And that's we'll get to that later. So, first thing I did was make a reference sheet, because even though he's my OC, I don't have one, and I was gonna have to draw this guy a million times because he's the only character in the game. So I made this simple reference sheet, and I used this 3D model to make sure his proportions and blah blah blah, all that stuff stayed consistent. Then I started on the main menu illustration. It's literally the first thing you'll see once you launch the game, so I really wanted this to look good, okay? And I was super excited to do this, and I was like, I'm gonna do this the proper way. I got plenty of time. So I spent, I'm not joking here, I spent all day making these thumbnails. And I was like, yeah, that's what professionals do. They make thumbnails and then they like pick the best one. I didn't pick the best one. I went with the stage idea because I was like, oh, you know, you can't quite see his face in it, so it's a little bit of mystery like I wanted, you know, because he's a mischievous guy. And, you know, it's circus, he's, you know, on stage. So then I drew it, right? And then I got some feedback. I was told, not by one, but at least 4 different people, that he looked like he was displaying something to the crowd. They essentially said that he looked like he was naked. Which, I understand why they would see it that way. His coat is longer than his shorts. But he is not naked. That is not what I wanted. So after failing this, I just couldn't use this as the main menu because more than one person saw it as him showing his junk to the crowd. I didn't see it that way, but more than one person who was not associated. Like, I didn't even ask some of these people. I'm like, just what do you think of this drawing? And they're like, is he naked? What? So anyways, we're not using that. I went with the second best idea, which was him shuffling these cards. To be honest, this was the better choice in the end because it shows off, he still looks mysterious while he's doing this, and like it shows like magic tricks and circus, you know, shit and all that. And it also doesn't look like he's naked. So Yeah, I actually tortured myself drawing this, his hair specifically, because I drew them all on different layers. Because originally I wanted the hair to be slightly animated so he'd be swaying in the wind all beautifully, but you'll soon see that I did not do that shit. Okay, we didn't have enough time for that. The entire menu took me a few days to complete, from the thumbnailing to the finished drawing, the second one. Also, once I finished the ending, this came much later, but you know, I figured I'd just throw this in here now. My lovely girlfriend, who has been helping me with this entire thing, she goes, since we're not animating the hair, I have another idea to make this menu not be a still image. Boom! Spotlights. Look at that. Spotlights and little sparkles. It's a small detail, but I like it a lot. I think it looks really good. You know, even though we couldn't get the hair animated, I think this is a good substitute to make sure that the menu is just not a still image. I just really didn't want it to just be, you know, I wanted a little bit of motion in there. The next big thing I needed to make was the inside of the circus, the interview room. Literally the entirety of this game takes place in this one room. You know, it's just this one scene. So I really wanted to make sure that this background looked nice. Okay, I started off with a simple sketch of how I wanted the game to generally look, you know, where things would be placed, where the text box would be, and how big the sprites would be. There's paints coming from the cannon and a bunch of footprints to show, like, you know, this place is being used. It's not like perfect. And there's also a giant box that has bombs in it. And if you look closely, it's right next to a currently lit sparkler. So that was just my little hint to show, hey, this is not a safe place to work, you know? This explosion might go off. I want the background to be both visually pleasing and also have little bits of like story of what this place is like, you know? It's a little bit unorganized, things all over the place. This drawing, it took forever. This took actual days. Like, I know I said the other one took forever, but this one actually took forever. And in the end, I exported it as 2 different layers. The desk is its own separate layer from the background because I wanted the sprites to be in between the two, you know, as if he's sitting across the desk from you. Very smart of me. Very, very big brain. Very big brain. And I tried to hide little things in the background that would tell you more about Cecil's personality and the circus in general. There's lots of funny plushies because he likes to make them as a hobby. I also put a bunch of stickers on the boxes to show that he's, you know, he's a little bit childish, you know. He likes stickers. Overall, I'm really proud of how this drawing came out. I really didn't do like much planning at all for it, for like the actual items that would be within it. I kind of just like drew things as I went along, which I don't really do, especially when it comes to backgrounds, because those are really difficult for me. Now, it was time to work on the user interface, which is, you know, text boxes, buttons, things like that. And oh boy, doesn't this text box look terrible? Well, I thought so too. And I killed it. I fiddled with it for so long, and just by the time I just gave up and went to work on something else. You know, it wasn't coming out how I wanted. By this point, I was avoiding the hardest thing. Something I wish I did not have to do at all. The script writing. Oh my God. I could not think of anything when it came down to what Cecil would actually say. Every time I opened up the document, I stared at it. I could not write anything. I had no idea how to write the script, the story, nothing. I knew it wanted to be an interview, and I've been on many interviews before, but I was like, how do I make it whimsical? How do I make it funny or interesting? I don't know. So I did what anyone would do in my situation. I asked for help. I went to the school's writing studio, and honestly, It was great. Suddenly I knew the whole story I wanted to convey, and I wrote down a whole document explaining how I wanted each ending to work. You know, the good, the bad, and the unusual one. Truth be told, I still do not have an actual script at this point. Okay, this was just a lot of planning of the plot and stuff, but I did feel a lot better afterwards, because, you know, it's easier to make a game when you actually know at least somewhat of what it's gonna be about. After that tiny success, I went back to drawing because, you know, I'm good at that. I'm not good at scripts. I'm still, you know, hesitating. I'm still procrastinating on that by this point, but it's okay, because now it's time for the sprites. I wanted this boy to be expressive. I wanted 5 different poses with a couple of expressions for each pose. So what did I end up doing? 3. Yeah, 5 different unique poses. That's crazy. I don't have all the time in the world for that. Okay, we're on a time crunch here. So I don't know why I thought 5 was like a good amount. I think 3 is enough. You know, each had a couple of different expressions with blushing variants because, you know, he's a cutie patootie. This was actually the most time-consuming part of this entire thing. I drew all the line art at once, then did all the rendering because I didn't want to finish one pose, render it, and then when I came back the next day, the rendering would look different. So I decided to just do each step of the drawing for each pose. Part of me wishes I made a worried expression, but you know, it's fine. In the end, all these expressions worked out. After I was freed of my chains from drawing the sprites, I took an entire day to just clean stuff up. I literally went to my workstation from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and just worked. I found sound effects, made some simple buttons, and finally the text box. Organized all my files because they had been all over the place. And I made the game icon, which was this little doodle. This little goober image of him. I thought it fit. Basically, I put everything into neat folders and I sent it off to my lovely programmer since she was doing all the code for me. Now, I could yap about the coding, but to be honest, I have no clue what this woman did. She made the game. She's made a game similar to this before. So from my understanding, she used that as a template to make See You at the Circus, and she added a couple of features per my request. So don't ask me about the coding. I wanted the ending the player got to be based on the responses that you chose throughout the game to the interview questions. For each question, you would have 3 choices to pick from: the good, bad, and unusual. At the end of the game, you would get whichever ending you picked the most of. So if I picked the good answer for the majority of the time, I would get the good ending. So after this long day of making boring assets for the game and organizing, I thought of a great idea. What if I made a physical poster and put them up around campus? Because at the end of the semester, everyone in this class would have to have a show to display what they made for, you know, during this class. So I thought, you know, this game, it's about an interview. So what if I put up posters advertising the interview? So that's exactly what I did. I ended up writing this simple little message. Think you have what it takes to join the greatest circus? Walk-in interviews are now open for a limited time. And in the game itself, I put in the script that you saw the ads, and that's why you decided to do the interview. I thought it was a fun way to bring like real life elements into the game itself, at least for the show. I intentionally put that these interviews are a limited time since the game would only be on display for a limited time during the gallery. So it makes sense and it's very cool, and you should tell me that it's a very cool idea because I thought it was a really cool idea. After this, I finally started writing the script, which was a pain. Even though I knew the plot and all the endings, I still found it very hard to convey those things naturally within the game. Especially since Cecil is literally the only character who talks. You, the player, only really say the response to the questions. It's like you don't have any further dialogue than that. So it was difficult to have him talk, but not like just yap at you a whole bunch. I don't know, it was difficult. But I made sure that for every response that you pick, you will get different dialogue. So he will respond differently if you pick the good, bad, or the unusual answer to every single question. I like it. I think the script turned out all right, you know. At least for someone I've never really written anything before. It's short, it's sweet, it doesn't take too long to finish the game, so it's replayable, and, you know, interviews in real life, they don't take that long, so I'm pretty happy with it. But now let's talk about the endings. First, I made the good ending. Now, I don't want to give away the endings fully, because you should totally go play my game. The link is in the description. It's very cool, guys, you know. This does not look very good, you know, and it's supposed to be a little bit threatening for the good ending. I love this drawing. I think it came out the best out of the 3 endings. You know, it's a little, you know, what's he got there on that paper? What could the good ending possibly be? Maybe you're hired or something. I don't know. You'll have to find out. Next is the bad ending. Dun dun dun. I don't know about you, but he looks a little cross in this one. He seems a little mad. He might be telling you to get the hell out of here. But hey, it's anyone's guess. Truly, who knows? Finally, we have the unusual ending. With so much pink and oh my god, are those tickets in Cecil's hand? Truly, what could this mean? This is rather unusual. Very unusual. Okay, I'll stop. I think these endings are okay, the illustrations. I originally wanted to have the backgrounds to be like a fully new, like, you know, I didn't want it to just be essentially a new sprite, but I truly did not have time at this point. I think I had like 2 weeks left, so I was not going to make 3 fully new rendered illustrations. And the last thing I made was these black and white ending indication cards, if that's what you would call it. So like after you finish a route, it'll like have this pop up and it's like, oh, you got the bad ending, you got the good one, you got the unusual one. And then the game would restart, bring you back to the main menu, all that fun stuff. Speaking of the main menu, by the way, the credits page, I used the naked drawing for that because hang on, what are the credits usually play at, like, you know, the end of a movie and stuff like that. What is he doing in this illustration? He's ending the show. Get it? Credits roll. He's ending the performance. Please. I needed to use this illustration somewhere. I think it looks good. I think it fits, you know? If you just pretend he's not naked, because he's not. Okay, he's not. That is the end. I uploaded it on itch for free if you want to play it. Link down below. And also, I just want to say, there have been people who have already played this game and made YouTube videos on it before I could even make this video. And that blew my mind. Okay, the fact that anyone played my game and then was like, yeah, I'm gonna make a YouTube video on this. I just couldn't believe it. It was so surreal to hear like someone like voice out my game out loud and like voice act it. Okay, a couple of them voice acted it and I was just like, bro, I was kicking my feet. Oh my goodness. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who played it. If you liked it, hate it, I don't care. Just thank you for playing it. I really liked this, and if you're wondering, the show went really well. I got a lot of good feedback of people playing my game in person, which, bro, that was so like difficult for me. Not difficult because like I don't know, it's one thing for like people online to play your game, but like seeing random strangers in person play it and they don't know that I'm the creator, I'm just like, oh my god. Don't say anything bad. Don't insult my game, please. Not right now. Not while I'm watching you secretly. I do plan to make more games in the future. This was more of a trial run for me because I love playing visual novels, but like I've always had the dream of wanting to make them, but now that I actually have made a small one, it's definitely inspired me to make something bigger and better for the next time. The next one I make, I'm not quite sure what it'll be about, but it'll probably be a dating game, and I will definitely have more than like 3 months to make it. There's a lot more features and content and ideas that I have that I want to do. So See You at the Circus was a great starting point. And I encourage everyone out there who, wants to make a project like this, but just hasn't gone around to doing it. I think if I didn't take, a class that forced me to make a prolonged project, I might have never made anything like See You at the Circus. I wouldn't have made a visual novel. So I encourage everyone to, if you got something you want to make it. You can always make it better later. But that's all from me. Thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, I commend you for putting up with this horrible microphone. Alright, this thing's ass, so the fact that you listened to me for this long, thank you. I appreciate that. Leave a like and subscribe if you want. You don't have to. Alright, see you next time.